The extraordinary thing about the Cunning Little Vixen is it's the only opera that I know that was inspired by a comic strip. It was written and illustrated by an artist called Lolek, and Janacek saw it in the paper and was greatly charmed by it, and got the idea and was inspired to write an opera. And so it seems it's quite right. I mean, that's the one that we should be led to make into an animated film, from a comic strip to Janacek's fantastic music, and then to us to enjoy that music and put pictures to his tremendous creations. I started listening to the opera 2 years ago, and listening pretty much continuously for 2 or 3 months, and drawing as I listened, and structuring the storyline through illustrations. I found it very moving. It's a very big, emotive opera. Surprisingly, it was a story of a little vixen, but it develops into a very passionate piece, particularly at the end when the forester sings the great aria, which is just very, very moving.
Is it true, or did I dream it? Did it really happen?
And that was quite instrumental in pointing me to the style of the characters, because there's obviously a great deal of dignity in the opera, and I didn't want to make it too kind of cheeky, if you like, just enough to sort of be able to hold the emotion of what was going on. The opera is about life, it's about the circle of life in many ways, and I have to say that I did see this quite literally. To me, this is the story of a fox, and to me it's very important to get the sense of a fox living in a wood, living in a field, with chickens, with other animals, and the very, very sense and feeling of nature.
It gladdens my heart to see the woods glow in the evening sun.
For me to discover an opera to do with the countryside and to do with animals, to do with the relationship between animals and human beings, is very dear to me. I was brought up in the country, and one of the most exciting things, and one of the things that actually captured me, was when I was first asked to do it, was the opening of the libretto and the description of what's happening on stage, which is that a cicada and a grasshopper walk onto the stage pushing a tiny barrel organ. Now, for an animator, that is just absolutely a gift.
Grandma, it's time to get ready for our party.
I'll play your chap, but just our favourite medley. I've got nothing new. The old tunes are the best tunes.
The Cunning Little Vixen being an opera brought certain problems to us as animators. Firstly, it's an hour and 40 minutes, which is quite a long time for an animated film to sustain, particularly a lot of the human plots in the piece. So it was agreed with Kent Nagano to edit those out, and which he did, I thought, really totally successfully. And so we're just concentrating on the lives and the happenings to the Vixen herself. When it came to us to be made into a film, which it is, he took on board that it needed to be a little faster, and it worked. When I heard it, I thought, yes, that's just absolutely what we need. It really sort of rattles along and makes it more dramatic. And more entertaining as you're looking at it on a screen. Starting work with a blank piece of paper is, is quite a challenge, of course, but it's a matter of listening to the music, and then I conjured up images of what might be in the story, in the structure, and that, of course, is the most important to me. Tell the story clearly, so the audience can follow it, and the drama is carried along. It happens with a series of what's called a storyboard. And these are a series of key moments in the film. In fact, in this instance, I think there was somewhere approaching 700 drawings. These are my emotions, my feelings about the opera.
Keep working, girls. I'm helping you.
Listen, sisters, why do you still obey?
The movement is then analysed and matched with the soundtrack. We take the models that we've developed for the characters, do the key poses, which is to hit every key point in the opera with a strong position and pose. This is done with usually in a blue pencil. When we feel quite confident about that piece of the work, we then put it into red drawings and then into black drawings finally, which are the key drawings, absolutely. And then in between those drawings are the in-between drawings, and that depends on how fast the action is as to how many there are. If it's a fast action, there aren't many drawings. If it's a slow action, of course, there are lots of drawings, because the more drawings, the slower the action. When we're happy with the movement and it's actually working well for us, and the whole ambience of the film is in the shape that we want, they go to colour. So the background is then painted by a skilled artist, and then the drawings will be scanned into the computer and then coloured to with the designated colours. And the two are brought together, the background at the bottom and the drawings on the top. If I had to choose a favourite sequence, it would probably be the Badger's set, which is quite lovely. It's done with shadows, and I like that sense of a shadow theatre.
But he thinks it is his private property. His private property. If there was something called justice, he would certainly be evicted.
I've also tried to bring into this production, or tried to keep into the production, a sense of the theatre. And there's a sequence where Harashta and the forester meet and have an argument in the night. So I'm trying to bring into that the dark, dramatic trees, that might appear in a pantomime, almost with faces and arms on the trees, not quite, but just a suggestion, so that it brings a very nice theatrical sense to the film, which I think is important and appeals to me. The world that I've tried to bring through the Cunning Little Vixen is the world of the animals in the forest, as Janacek felt it also through his music. And so that to me is pretty much what I've tried to bring. The life of the vixen, the cunning little vixen, who, in her wily fashion, makes her life happen for her.